Scare my cats. What is going on? What's happening? What is going on? Okay, I said that twice. What the fuck? So this is gonna be me being a wild boy the whole time. I'm not gonna talk about astrology at all. I'm just gonna talk about my beard and how I haven't shaved and it's starting to really scratch me. Anyways, we're off to a really good start. So unfortunately, you're not gonna be able to see this beard because I like to meditate when I do my readings these days. I like to sit back like a fucking Berkeley person or some shit. I don't know, Boulder person or a monk from India. There you go. And I like to just kind of do it like that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? So yeah, I will be sharing the screen probably like the whole like a lot of the reading. Actually, I never really know. Sometimes like I want to show my face. I'm very spontaneous. You're a Gemini, so you get it. You get it. You know what it's all about. My voice was lost. It feels good. I don't feel that sensation that it could just disappear at any moment anymore, which I think is a really good thing. It's great for me. So yeah, let me start the timer and let's hide your last name, as I value anonymity and privacy so much. As much as that sound I just made, that's how much I value anonymity. Newport Beach, baby. Such a fucking sexy fucking place. Oof. Fashion Island, the beach, surfing, the Wedge. What's places I liked over there? That burrito place. Fuck, what was it called? Oh my god, it was so good. Yeah, that burrito place. It's gonna really specify things for you. It's like in not Balboa, like the main beach area where everyone goes, and it's like very close to the beach. Not like by the Wedge. Oh my god, now it's gonna bother me. Fuck, I'm not checking that shit. And they have like a tangy burrito. Oh my god, how do I not remember the name of that place? It's so fire. There's no good Mexican food here. It's one thing that sucks. Okay, so we are good. We're rolling. Oh no, we're not good because my good camera is not going. So it's 6 a.m. I'm still up. I don't give a shit. I'm crazy. I have Uranus in the sixth house, and I finally got a jolt. I had a meeting tonight, and I finally got my jolt of energy. That I just I did like literally like only I didn't do one reading this. Did I do a reading? I only did like live sessions this week, like follow up for an astrology sessions. So I have a lot of catching up to. It's like literally getting fucking light. I hate that. But good thing I have automatic current closers. Where is the big one? Maybe it's kind of cloud foggy, which I like. So maybe I'll let it be like that for a while. Anyways, okay. Let's share the chart. Let's get talking. Let's get rolling. Let's get down. Let's get down to business. Okay. CC 648 on Halloween. That's me being fucking crazy. Because I have Uranus in the sixth house, which makes me have like very absurd and just different routine. But it somehow works. So whatever. Fuck it. Saturn's there too, which helps it. Anyways, that's the last you'll hear about me, probably. Okay. So and now I can turn this light off, which is fucking annoying. I hate light. A fucking vampire. I like these LED green lights. Okay, so oh, and anyway, crystals. Sorry, I'm not to diss Gemini, but I'm acting like the biggest Gemini right now. Like low vibe Gemini. Or not even low vibe, just like doing this and that and this and that and this and that. Virgo or Gemini, like mercurial person, I guess. But you know I fuck with Geminis. The high vibe Geminis, which you are. You know I rock with you. Okay, so let's fucking start. So first of all, look at you. Look at you. Okay, my pitch is a little bit off my throat. A little bit. But look at you, Jupiter rising. Do you understand how good that is? No, you don't. Ascendant 13 Sag. Jupiter 11 Sag. Very close to Antares. I mean, it is 2 degrees away. But where's my phone? Or actually, let's pull that right now. Antares is one of the 4 royal stars. It's extremely important. I mean, let's see how close. 942. Yeah, it's within 2 degrees, so it's not like super close to your Jupiter, but and I don't know what it does, what the combination does, so I need to look it up. So give me a moment. Usually I talk about like the fixed stars and asteroids like at the end, but in this case, it's better to do it now because I saw it. So Jupiter, which is a very positive planet, so I'm like, I wonder what it is. It says great spiritual zeal, ecclesiastical preferment, benefits through relatives, mental alertness, strategic ability, and courage makes daredevils. It's just like very lucky. So even being a Sag rising, right? You know, and having Jupiter on your ascendant is just like the biggest, like you have like such a massive aura. Like, I don't know how else to say that. Actually, one second, I need to pause this reading. Hold up. All right, I'm back. Okay, back to sharing screen. Okay, so basically, as I was saying before, you know, having Jupiter rising is one of the it's just like a very blessed placement. I mean, what else can I say? Jupiter is a planet of expansion, of luck, of you know, philosophy, of travel, of you know, it just when you have it on your rising, it gives you a Jupiterian energy. So you might be, you know, it's typically like makes someone very attractive, like physically attractive. Well, physically and like energetically attractive. And yeah, it just gives like this expansive aura and energy and makes someone really attractive to other people, not just like in a romantic sense, like also like you know, like people will like you, like it makes them popular. Um and it's in Sag, so it's like all about like higher learning and it's completely connected. So it's giving you like lots of luck too. It's really good, lucky for luck and love, luck and money, luck and love. And it's very good for your physical body as well. And yeah, like I was saying, being a Sag rising, boys, don't fail me now. You know, Sag risings, they really see life through the lens of like everything being like a big, what do you call it? Everything being a big adventure. You know, like they really like that's what they value is adventure. So and with the Antares, you know, you're gonna feel like there's a really special kind of purpose to your life. You know, you'll feel that kind of innately, right? Um like a yeah, there's like a special purpose, royal star with Jupiter on it. So then obviously we got an Aries moon with a Gemini sun. and those are two energies. So I always like to kind of talk about the sun and the moon and their relationship with one another. And what I can tell you is that those two signs definitely get along. Aries moon people, of course, they can be very impulsive. They can be they can have anger issues, and your moon, luckily for you, has no bad aspects. It only has good aspects. And you yourself, you hardly have you have one really difficult aspect. So, and there's no such thing as good or bad in astrology. There's just easy and difficult. But sometimes the difficult is better in the long run because it makes people, have to work. And then it's like, they end up with better outcomes. But it's just more difficult like early in life. But yeah, I mean, your chart overall has like a lot of really more of the blue aspects, as you see down here. But yeah, so Gemini 7th house, Moon, Aries 5th house. You'll just be on an emotional level someone who's very playful, very playful, very childish, and I mean that in the best way possible. And you're just like an extremely fun person, like just that energy. Which I've never looked at your profile, but I have talked to you, and even from like talking to you in message, I could feel just that oozing of positive energy. And you probably have so much energy that it can be almost like a bit much for some people. You know what I mean? Like you're probably very smiley, very optimistic too. That's another thing that the Jupiter rising does, is that it gives you like kind of an outer like personality that's very optimistic, and that attracts people to you. And very bright, kind of smiley energy, right? And able to kind of just take life as it comes because you're a Gemini, which is mutable, right? So you're able to just kind of go with the flow. You enjoy the randomness of life. You enjoy just the weird stuff, the good weird stuff that just happens. You're here for the ride, and you're not really like you really don't like to hold yourself back. You really don't like to be around people who hold you back. So in relationships, it's very important that, because as an Aries moon, you're very independent, right? And it's very important for you to keep that independence. So in relationships, it's very important for you to have partners who, yeah, your Venus is in Taurus and South Node, so yeah, who and your North is in Scorpio, so who kind of give you that stability, but who also give you that real feeling of like you can be with like that real feeling of being alive, that real feeling of just pure, just fun and expansion. Um, and the North Node Scorpio, it's very common in 12th house that I have, clients of mine have that, because the North Node represents your highest spiritual yearning, like where you're really trying to get to on a soul level in this lifetime. And in Scorpio, it means that you're really trying to break through past life patterns of being a little bit like, what's the word? A little bit set in your ways, where you weren't allowing yourself to kind of leave your immediate environment, as an example, right? And because of that, and very stuck in the material realm. Yeah, like you could have been someone who's very attached to like their daily kind of occupation and daily life. You know how people just go through their life, they work their job and it's very like mundane. That's like you're trying to break out of that energy. Not to say that, like, because I have no idea what society, or world you even incarnate. These are just energies, right? So I'm not saying that you incarnated working at 7-Eleven or some shit like that. It's like there was a tendency even like Taurus can be like being very wealthy, like that, like maybe, but like based like it could be like a million different past life stories, like, but there's something like it doesn't matter what it is, right? You could have just been like someone who is very, very wealthy, and just used to like that, and because of that didn't take spiritual risks because you had yes men around you, or it was that you were just very stuck and it's the sixth house, so it's probably more about sixth house of servants, just working for other people. But yeah, like because and you have second house, yeah, Neptune, yeah. So because of that, you didn't really develop like uh and this is so many of my clients have this. You didn't really develop a firm sense of who you are as an individual. So in this life, you've been given all these, being a Gemini, and obviously that's like an ultra creative placement. Um, and Sagittarius, because you're really looking for higher truth and higher wisdom, and even having like your Regulus Leo Mars. So yeah. Back to what I was saying earlier, though, to not get too sidetracked. Well, actually, before that, yeah, like North Node in Scorpio, and I'll talk more about it like later, is like literally like you're in this lifetime, you were put into the situations like you have Saturn on the IC, which would speak of like restrictions in childhood, maybe something with the father, but basically some type of like scenario that where you felt restricted in being yourself, like in your early home environment, um your early, yeah, like kind of family environment. But there's a purpose for that, right? The purpose is evolutionary, and it's so you can get more towards Scorpio, which is death, rebirth, transformation. So it's very, very, it's like you're really trying to become more spiritual in this lifetime. It's in 12th house, which is like the house of Pisces. So it's like moving from like Taurus Virgo energy to Scorpio Pisces energy. So it's really important for you, Briana, to spend time alone and to take spiritual risks. And what I mean by spiritual risk would be like, let's say that you have lived in the same place your whole life. Maybe in Newport's, beautiful place. So it's not even about that, but like you're meant to grow. So you're meant to outgrow people, right? I'm putting a chewing tobacco in. It's not the disgusting American cha. It's like the sexy Swedish, like mint flavored, like pouches. I'm just telling you. So 1 second. And I'm not addicted. I'm not addicted. I just do tobacco random times and then like I stop. And they're like addicted to tobacco. Um, but yeah, anyways, so as I was saying, yeah, you're really like outgrowing people and surrendering is really important because the South Node in Taurus, the South Node is the passive tendency. It's in Venus, or Venus is conjuncted, so that actually makes me think that I was onto something with like the being rich thing in past lives and being very attractive. I think like you like, and remember, like I've only seen like a mini small photo of you. I remember thinking like just from that photo, trying not to look at it, but like I remember thinking you were beautiful, right? I remember thinking it, but like I really try not to look at it. But 1 second. Just based on the astrology, it's highly likely that you're very beautiful in this life, and um that because the South Node right here is conjunct Venus in Taurus, the sign of beauty, um that maybe you were like a model, but you got things too easily, right? Things came to you too easily. So in this life, it's really about, and Pluto and the North Node in the same house is so fucking crazy. It's literally like the 2 points I look at as a karmic astrologer from the own system that I've devised on my own. Like, okay, check this out. So the sun, so Briana, listen to me when I say this. You need to study what the highest energy, I'm going to give you homework. You need to study what the highest energy manifestation, the highest potential of Scorpio is, what the lowest is. I want you to learn about that. And we can talk about it. And also I want you to learn about the axis, so the Scorpio Taurus axis. This is the opposition between the two. So basically, yeah, there's a past life tendency to kind of have things maybe come, and let me see if there's any squares to your, yeah. So like there's a lot of past life conditioning that you're kind of trying to undo, but the square with Uranus is interesting because it's retrograde. So yeah, like I feel like you were like under like you're too like with kind of what was in, you weren't individualistic enough. So in this life, you're really trying to be your own person, but there might be some pushback with that, right? But like it's really important for you to, let's see, 11th house. Yeah, to just like to branch out and to, I know that like spirituality and stuff, like I mean, I think it's in LA, it's pretty fucking cool now, right? I mean, it's becoming pretty in, but still, to stay away from the fake spirituality and to find your own version of it, which is about internal death, rebirth, and transformation, right? So you like at your best are doing a lot of shadow work in this lifetime, and you're moving past. Oh, I actually forgot you have Pluto opposite your sun. How did I not fucking see that? Of course. So, you're learning a lot about power, personal power, and the difference between external and internal power. And it's really important for you to go within yourself and to find that, not from another person, not from, anything that's not you. So meditation is a perfect metaphor for this, because when you meditate, you get deeper with yourself, and yeah. So anything like psychology, just like anything that gets you closer to deeper understanding of human behavior and of your own shadow, is what you're really, really needing in this lifetime. So yeah, like making sure that you are able to have solitude, even with your being a Gemini, which is so social, right? And the Aries moon, which is so social, there's still a need for you to have times of where you're more of like a recluse. Obviously, like not all the time, but it's important for you to not just always be in the here and now and with people and all that, right? Like, am I wording that correctly? It's important for you to like really look at yourself deeply and not skip over things. And a lot of that will come in your very karmic relationships, right? Venus conjunct South Node means that your relationships, probably with Josh, and other partners that you may have had in your life, very, very karmic. 1 second. So, like, there's lots of fate in your relationships, and you have, your sun in the 7th house. So, relationships is kind of like a really big part of your life and of your learning and of your growth, and that's also where you're going to meet a lot of your shadow, right? So like yeah, yeah, it's just ultra important on a karmic level for you to really, really dive in, to just try out like tons of new things. And as a Sag rising, just be like the Gemini curiosity, but not on like a really like superficial level, you know, to really like, and you're born in 95, so you haven't gone through your Saturn return, so you're still in that process of figuring it out, you know. So yeah, like really like individualization, like because there is definitely a level of past life conditioning that you're trying to break through. And I think with Saturn on the IC, it might really relate to your family, maybe like a pattern in your family, right? That might hold you back in some type of way. And understand that you're different, you know, is very, very important, and to lean into that. Also, you have Chiron on the midheaven, so like in Virgo, so you might literally be meant to be some type of healer in this lifetime. You know, whether it's a psychologist, because the seventh house also rules clients. So, you know, work like that could be very, very good for you. And sixth house Venus, you know, on its own is really, really good for health. So you have lots of really good indicators for physical health. But it's also really good for like the daily routine and for having like a nice work environment, and yeah, overall it's good for a lot of things. So, and it's really, really good for money too, for like attracting abundance. And yeah, but basically like with this energy, um it like at a lower level, it can create relationships where there's this like constant power struggle, and it's all about like when you learn that true self-love, that true like I know who I am on a deep, deep level. um that's when everything opens up, right? And the way to do that is the 12th house, which is also about service. So being of service to humanity. And you have a 29-degree Pluto, which is crazy, right? And you have a 29-degree Mars. So that's like lots of 29 degrees. It's the last degree, which means that you're really trying to finish a very important karmic cycle in this lifetime. And a lot of it has to do with letting go and surrendering to, you know, like it's like the battle away from ego to soul, and really like trying to figure out what is my ego and what is my soul, and choosing soul. Like instead of like looking at life through like what's my physical value that I bring to the table, looking at it through what's my metaphysical value. Like, you know, what, for example, like the difference between being like a model, for example, right? Which is nothing wrong with that. Which, you know, I don't want to like say being a model is bad, but like, but like the different, okay, let me give a better example. The difference between being like an influencer that like doesn't have much substance, and someone who is like genuinely like helping, like, and you still be like an influencer type, but someone who's like helping people, you know, it's very important. And it starts with you helping yourself. Um, and I believe that, you know, you've gone through a lot, and that those experiences and the fact that the sun opposes Pluto will have made it so you are very like in touch with kind of the darker sides of life and even of your own self. So it's kind of a blessing, right, to have that, because it just said it kind of, it, even though it probably indicated like some difficult experiences um growing up and stuff, it those experiences are what push you away from this kind of lofty things staying the same, you know, sticking to your old friends that no longer serve you, old environment, all that stuff, because you're meant to really outgrow a lot. Water. I have to drink a lot of water during these, when my voice is like not fully back for the most part is. But yeah, so that's massive. Massive, massive. Um, yeah. And like the Pluto 12th house, 20, like it's just like it's like yeah, it really goes back to this theme about ego versus soul and kind of the conflicting the conflict that both have. So how does that tie back to you being uh, Gemini Aries with Sag rising? Well, those are very social energies, right? And even your Mars, you have very masculine chart. Masculine meaning like air and fire masculine, right? Not like gender. So like very like assertive, very like kind of go-getter, that kind of energy. Um, so yeah, being a Gemini, I don't really like need to go into sun signs. Come on. We know about Gemini. Um, it's just really important to not be a bad Gemini. You know, bad Gemini is like or like low Gemini is like where there's like a lot of like just trying this, trying that, like just like so much like all over the placeness, right? Um, and it's really important um to try to try to focus on a few things like to really master because Geminis can be so talented, but sometimes they can like be what's it called? The jack of all trades, but the master of none, right? So it's important to understand that and to try to find what you're truly, truly passionate about and really move towards that. Really move towards that. So having so and then it's in the seventh house. So like I said, like a lot of your life purpose is gonna come, in your relationships, if you're working with clients, even like business partners, that kind of thing. And where's Black Moon Lilith? Okay, yes. Yeah, exactly. I was gonna guess, like, is your Black Moon Lilith in Gemini? Yeah. So it's like so that's kind of saying that like you at your lowest, when you're like a lower vibe of yourself is like the lower vibe of Gemini, right? So like about like kind of gossiping and just staying like being like kind of superficial. So, and I'm not saying that that's you at all. I'm saying that Black Moon Lilith is our self-defeating. It's like what we like. It indicates like kind of how we screw ourselves a little bit, but like how like us at our lowest, right? So in Gemini, it's like just very important to not um gossip, to not lie, to not be all over the place. Gemini can be anxious, so to try to just work on like anything that's like psychological to really lean into that. And having Aries moon, I it's like this inner warrior energy. Like nothing can really hold you back. Like you can bounce back from things so well. You're so like, and it can also make someone very, very impulsive, especially being a Gemini, right? So, yeah, like being able to, I guess, understand that and like with any Aries moon, especially with Mars square Pluto, like there's a huge need for you to have physical exercise, to like have like a routine, like probably like something like kickboxing or boxing or some kind of martial arts is the best, or just like working out in general, like something that really like gets all that energy out of you because it can be really tense energy. Mars square Pluto. It's a really difficult. It's exact. it's exact 29, 29. You see, 29 degrees, 29 degrees. So very important for you to really to because there can be like lots of like kind of combustible like volcanic intertension that can form, and being an Aries moon already, there can be anger issues, and there can be issues of impulsiveness and the like, right? So meditation is like massive to be able to kind of slow things down. And that goes back to your North Node, right? The North Node being as like the metaphoric mountain never climbed in past lives. So yeah, like Aries moon, there's an emotional need to be a pioneer, to be independent, to be like your own boss if you're, just very entrepreneurial. But it's in the fifth house, so it's about creativity and about the inner child, and about like this big need for you to express your authentic self, right? So having like a creative outlet is huge, really, really huge. I have a fifth house moon also in Sag, which is very similar to you. So it's like, yeah, like really, really like it's really great because it can make it so like like you really want to basically like find whatever it is that you do for fun, turning that into something that's like a career potentially, right? So as a Gemini with Sag rising, you'll be someone who wants to explore so many different things, so many different people, right? But what can happen is that it's so social that you want to make time for yourself and space for yourself. So with relationships, and I'll do that reading, I'm not gonna do it today, obviously. I'm gonna sleep after this, but it's really important to have relationships that don't hold back that individualism, and where you're able to really feel like you're moving towards your authentic self and getting to know it better and better. So relationships that give you space and that support that are huge. But yeah, so like Aries moon, yeah, so they if in relationships, like if they feel boxed in, if they feel like, is there Uranus doing anything? No. Yeah, if they feel like they're like they like you need, like traveling is huge for you, experiencing different cultures, and traveling physically or metaphorically is what I like to say, right? And you have like energy of a teacher, someone who learns a lot and who's then able to kind of like teach people around them, which is why I see like a helping profession being so amazing for you. But yeah, really like the thing, my girlfriend has the same thing as you, like with her Aries moon conjunct Eris. And yeah, like anger is definitely something that can come up in rage. And yeah, so like finding spirituality is the best possible thing. Your own version of it though, doing things like Kundalini yoga, breath work. Because sometimes people that have like Aries moons, they can like rely too much on like weed, I found. Not all the time, but sometimes stoners. Because especially with the Mars square Pluto, like there's so like it's like a lot of people that have that, I've noticed. Sometimes just like they like, unless they had that real, like if it's like CrossFit or whatever the fuck it is, physical outlet, they you know, there's just too much fire burning, and they'll like smoke a bunch of weed, which I'm not saying is bad. I'm just saying that the higher manifestation is to not do that, or to move away from that. And I'm not even saying you smoke. I'm just saying, like, that's like an example. It's something I see a good amount. So yeah, Aries moon, also emotional need for just being your own person, really, like really being your own person within relationships of the seventh house. And one other thing to watch out for in the seventh house sun is codependence, where you rely too much on your relationships for your sense of identity and purpose and self. And is your Venus unaspected? Yes, it is. I called it. So unaspected Venus can create someone who, like, yeah, just cares way too much about relationships. They're always in relationships. And they will literally until they find that true self-love, which, remember, I'm telling you your chart the same way at 20, 30, 40, 50, like I would be reading it the same way. It's just that it's a deck of it's like the karmic deck of cards that you were handed, right? So it's your free will to decide how you deal with it. But yeah, like, big time need for you know, being a little bit selfish when it comes to like spirituality and getting deep with yourself. Because, like, if you don't, the Pluto opposite sun will just will create lots of power struggles in your life, psychological, physical, all that. So yeah, it's important to really understand that and to do practices that, like, enable you to become more spiritually deep, right? And that can come in so many different forms. So then, we have what else? Yeah, but I just love Aries moon woman. Like, they always bounce back. They have so much resiliency, and they're so like internally strong. Like, they're like inner warriors, like I said before. But yeah, the anger thing, just like very, very important. And a lot of it can come back to the IC Saturn, right? Which, by the way, another reading I offer is astrocartography, which is like the astrology of different geographic locations. And I think you live in LA. So that means if you do, or you live close to where you're to Newport, that you live on your IC Saturn line. So it actually it would be beneficial to live somewhere where you're not on that line. That's one of the most difficult lines in astrocartography. But it's a whole different reading. I have to like really look into that. But then, like, also you have like Jupiter on your ascendant. So it's so actually no, because so that actually kind of pushes that away a little bit. The reason being that they kind of cancel each other out, because Jupiter on your ascendant would mean that you live on a Jupiter and a Saturn line. So there's like this like restriction, inner restriction feelings, but also this like really like amazing Jupiter energy that I talked about. So I kind of take back the statement of like needing to move based on the Jupiter being on the ascendant. Let's see. Now, being an Aries moon and having Jupiter trine it is really, really nice, because it will give you a lot of like insight and perspective into yourself and into your emotional self. So while others who have these types of placements might be clueless about what makes them angry and what because Aries is impulsive as fuck, right? So it's like you'll be able to understand naturally more of where that might come from. And yeah, okay. So yeah, just high Gemini energy is really just, keeping that curiosity, as I said before, and then really leaning into what really makes you just the most happy. And you have so much boss leader energy, so much leadership energy. And Regulus being on your Mars is even like it's so dynamic. So dynamic. I'll talk about that a little bit later. So yeah, let's see. Staring at the chart. Where's it? Square. So one area where you can really benefit is through writing, or like just any form of of uh like the way you think and the way that you communicate. And your Mercury is in it's in um, Gemini, which is a very strong Mercury, so it's very good for intelligence and for communication in general. The fact that you have Uranus in the third is going to give you like a very not eccentric, but just like almost like genius, like potential, but like very unconventional way of like kind of thinking about things, which is great. So leaning into that, right? Through whatever creative pursuit exists or that you could like go deeper into. And remember, like the whole idea is that it's not for the views, it's not for anything. Like it's like the idea, like, with art therapy, right? Art therapy, the whole idea is that you're creating some type of art that you're not necessarily showing off. It's not for the purpose of external validation. It's getting you more in touch with yourself. So finding outlets like that, very important, whether it's dancing. I mean, it could be so many things, right? And I'm saying that there's a need for that on like the physical level and on like the more spiritual, creative level. And Geminis are very creative, so yeah. Um, and yeah. So yeah, like you can also like if you're a writer, or some like writer, anything to do with communicating, speaking, whatever, like you literally are someone who can like receive downloads when you do that. Like if you just like start writing, like you'll like things will just come to you and it's like this magical thing. But also third house Uranus can indicate like bizarre relationships with siblings, or not necessarily in a bad way because there's no bad aspects to it, but just like very unconventional, maybe like a very like genius sibling, and someone who inspires you to, if you have siblings, right, to kind of move more towards that like individualism away from like the the LA, I know LA well, the LA thought, the LA way of being, not that you're meant to just like not be influenced by your environment at all. Of course, you know, you are where you're from, but just looking at your friendships, looking at your what you're a part of, your environment, your day to day, and thinking and analyzing each relationship and being like, okay, how much does this person help me become like the truest and highest, most, true to myself, me, And then, you know, the opposite of like how much does it do the opposite? Does it like keep me like in this kind of conditioned place? So yeah, and that's difficult because, you know, with that Pluto energy, like it's very uncomfortable when, you know, you have friends that you've had for a long time, and you have to and you start to grow because that's your karma, is to really, like, it's like snake shedding the skin, right? And when that happens, a lot of people kind of stay the same, and they almost like sometimes will like, even if they don't recognize it, they'll kind of like pull at you to like be the old version of you, right? And so having like boundaries around that is really important. Um, and I'm also like that, so I can speak from firsthand experience that like the best, like moving away from where I was from. That's not why I did it, but like, I mean, I've moved a million times, but like it helps a lot to be in new environments where you're not like what's the word? Like not like kind of like trying to be someone that you used to be. Yeah. Okay. And um so with love, you know, Venus and Taurus, beautiful placement. It really enables you to see um like the beauty in other people and in yourself. And who's calling me? Second. Sorry, one sec. Girlfriend's calling me. She's in Bucharest. Hold on one second. They're not giving us the bag. What the fuck? She's in Bucharest because she has to get a visa to be able to visit the US. It's fucking annoying as fuck. So she has to go to this visa appointment. She's with her friend. She's saying they're not giving us the bag at the airport. We are waiting for somebody. Okay, well, that means it's coming. One sec. Let's see what she says. Okay. Anyways, so Okay, she's stressing. Okay, whatever. We'll figure it out. So yeah, as I was saying, like, with the Venus, yeah, it's a very good placement, and it's gonna make you want to have relationships that provide you a level of stability, financial, um, but also like someone who's like your rock, you know. And when I look at your chart, you know, because there's not anything in Earth, there's not anything in water, it's in, well, I mean, there is Earth, there's Venus and Earth, that's it. Um, it's important to, yeah, to have someone that you really, really can rely on and who's very, very consistent, um, patient, all that stuff. So yeah, and then Mars in the ninth house, that's a very interesting one because basically, and it's Mars in Leo, right? So Mars is and Leo is a very powerful energy, especially conjunct the royal star Regulus. And in the ninth house, it's going to make you really, really want to travel. It's going to make you really, really want to learn higher truth. And let me pull up my notes on Mars conjunct Regulus. Hold on. Here it is. You ready for it? You're gonna, and let's see how close it is. I can't see shit. I know it's 20. It's 4-6. Oh my, wait, no way. Hold on. Is that 29? Is it 0.01 away? There's no way. Hold on. So 29, 4-6. Wow. 0.1 away. So Mars is 4-5, right? Okay. Wow. Holy shit. It's 0.1 away. It's like an exact conjunction. So let me read you this. So Mars conjunct Regulus, honor, fame, strong character, public prominence, and it says high military command. That's like an old fucking explanation. And then if it's between 0.30, but yours is 0.01. This is one who takes commands and gives orders. These people work well in the military. And remember, these are old definitions, so you can translate that to anything that's like physical, anything that's like very entrepreneurial, right? And can achieve high goals and honors here. And now another interesting thing is that the Antares is very militant as well. It's a very, very like I call it like the king of the underworld. It's really interesting. So these people, yeah, can achieve high goals and honors there. The commanding personality extends even to their love life, since everyone is merely a stepping stone for their pleasures and ego. Okay, let's wait, hold up. Let's go to this other place. What's it called? Dark Star Astrology. Here it is. So yeah, so I have Regulus Ascendant. So you have Regulus Mars. So we have that in common. We're superstars. But that's for real fame shit. Yeah, like really when it's that close, it's like that's like legit. Like I'm not even just saying this. I don't say this in readings often. Like that's like really like potential fame. Um yeah, like literally like Henry Ford had it at 0.0 and rising. Let's see. So what's really important with Regulus though in general, and I have it tattooed on myself for a reason, right? Because it's a reminder. Um, yeah. So is that people will be jealous of you probably. And if you do reach like a level of like, prominence, which my guess is you will, that so this is what goes back to your like the anger stuff I was talking about and the impulsiveness, right? It's like there will be situations that will come up where you will want to seek revenge on lower being. I don't want to say lower beings, but just lower energy people who are trying to fuck with you, And it's very important to not get revenge and to be diplomatic, to understand that you're a star and that not like people are beneath you, but like when you're in that position, right? Because like me, even like I'm not famous at all. Like have like what like 30 nearly 30,000 Instagram followers. That's it for astrology. So it's like I have like a niche level of like astrology fame, I guess, right? I've had these situations come up where my choice was to handle things like even the other day, someone messaged me and said that they like hated my reading. I was like, and I rewatched it. I was like, I fucking killed it. And she was kind of insulting me, but my response was I took back all like the things I said. I like deleted them. Like I didn't say anything like fuck you. Or I just was like, you know what? My duty is for everyone to be happy. I've only had the third person that was unsatisfied with the reading. Well, what did I do? I didn't answer to any of the things she was like saying about me. I just I just fucking sent, I didn't really plan it, but I just ended up sending her like 90 minutes worth or more of voice messages on Instagram, basically like a full new reading. And I told her and then she like was able to screen record it and basically I just gave her a new reading, right? Because I didn't want to deal with that karma. And I understood that when you have Regulus, that there's a lot of big like there's lots like basically just that these situations will show up. So that's why it's so important for you to be in control of your fire. Um, very, very important. And that all goes back to this Pluto opposite Sun, right? Because this is an opposition will create situations where people will try to fuck with you on that power level. So it really comes down to quote unquote being the bigger man, even though you're a woman, and being very diplomatic and taking a breather, taking a step back when these situations come up. You know what I mean? Now, it doesn't mean letting people walk all over you, but with what I'm seeing in your chart, you're so powerful that anyone that's gonna like come after you in like a petty ass, bitch ass way is just trying to get a reaction out of you, you know? And they're trying to get you to stoop down to their level. So just understand that because Regulus, the only pitfall is that when you do seek that revenge, then you can like really lose the fortune and all the great things that it brings. So it's like with great, you know, responsibility comes with great power comes great responsibility kind of thing, right? And yeah, even just like Mars in a fire sign just is going to give you so much assertiveness, so much like drive and passion and to like that's why I like the whole martial arts or physical exercise thing, like especially a martial art that like teaches you like some level of spirituality also while you're just kicking your own ass. Like you really need to like kick your own ass like physically, um that's gonna really improve everything. And I don't know if you're like in therapy or whatever, like, or any kind of healing like that, but like, I do astrological counseling just in case you were ever interested, because I have two master's degrees in psychology, transpersonal psychology, which is more spiritual psychology, and like like cognitive behavioral therapy based. So one that's very scientific, one that's more spiritual. So yeah, like really that's huge. But like in a partner, so back to partnerships, like, you will never work well with someone who's not exciting, with someone who you don't have like an intellectual like connection with, like a real, like, who you can really just, Mercury in the seventh house, you really want to talk to your partner about like everything, and Geminis are curious, so if their needs aren't met, they can be serial daters. And with it going back to the Venus unaspected, yeah, like I was saying before, these people can, like, Venus retrograde or Venus unaspected people can, like, if you ask them like how are you doing, their answer, like, in their head can be based off of like whether they're in a relationship, how good the relationship's going. So it's really about like, for you, the hugest, biggest thing is developing that spiritual relationship with yourself, with the divine, with God, if you want to call it that. I say God. So I'm really happy that I'm doing this reading before the compatibility one. Not that I would have done it differently, but like in different days, because yeah. Um, yeah, so that's ultra important. And your descendants also in Gemini, and Black Moon both on your descendant. So yeah, just like arguments and you just got to really be clear with your communication, and really, really loving, and take the time to listen and understand. There can definitely be a level of bossiness too with this chart. So understanding that, and just being a leader, you're a natural like born leader. You're here to be a leader. And then, Juno and Capricorn in the second house is going to make you really like want to be with someone who has their shit together, like in terms of their career, who's very driven, who also can provide a level of like financial security. But it's not like in any type of gold digger type way. It's more about someone who you look to and they are that solid rock, and that they have their own thing going on that they're passionate about, um, and that you really respect, and who can help you in your endeavors, right? Kind of power couple type energy, right? And yeah, someone who just has like their values in a good place. So, and then also, you have your Neptune in the second, so that can create a sense of vagueness around, like, it's really important to have like spiritual values, basically. Like, I can even click on this and it can give me like a mini thing. It says you may be unrealistic in your assessment of your self-worth. There may also be a lack of clarity surrounding money and possessions. The need to link monetary values with spiritual values. That's actually a pretty good definition. It's a really mini one. But yeah, like second house Neptune can make it can, and you don't have other parts of your chart that would make this more difficult. Like that would, like, if you don't have like a lot of Pisces or anything like that, right? So yeah, like with money, it's important for you to not, because like and you do have your Venus, which rules spending in Taurus, so that's actually good for being able to be more conservative. But like Aries, moons can just be impulsive in general, and Mars and Leo also. Also stubbornness. Like, so you are Gemini, but Aries moon and Mars Leo can be very stubborn. and even Sag is open-minded as they can be. They can also be very like this is like how it is, and that's it, you know. So like really like there's a book called Nonviolent Communication that I think everyone should read. Psychology book, and like that is like that would be like amazing to take all those lessons in. But yeah, really like having like a set of spiritual morals and values that you base your decisions off of in everyday life is very important for that Neptune there. And if you do have any issues with kind of seeing yourself clearly, which Gemini sometimes can, one of the key tricks is like using cameras, like literally like doing like filming yourself like a video, like a daily Briana vlog, you know, where you just like you don't have to show anyone, where you just like film yourself kind of talking about your emotions and just your own spirituality and stuff like that, stuff that's more private, right? So yeah. So definitely like in romance there's this yeah, I would imagine you do really well with yeah, I'm just like just peering at Josh's, and he's an Aquarius, and his moon is 29 degrees Cancer, and he's got Mars in Taurus. So it's like, and he's a Pisces rising. So that's already off the rip. I'm not gonna, and obviously I'll go into this when I do the next reading. And he has all like a lot of Earth, right? He has a lot of Earth in his water. So this is really good for you. Really good for you. And he also has his Juno or like a Juno conjunct South Node, so he also has the same thing with you as having like really faded relationships. Um, hmm, yeah, and he's learning a lot through his relationships too. So I like just off the rip, I love this for you, because like the Cancer moon is so grounding, and the Mars and Taurus you know is very like it's gonna it's he really definitely, especially the Pisces rising, will make you feel very at peace. Excuse me. And he has a lot more feminine energy than you, which is what's needed. Even as an Aquarius, but he's a 12th house Aquarius, which is very interesting. So I really like that I saw that instead of where'd it go? Instead of like him having like a very similar fiery chart in yours. We'll see what the other reading says. Um so yeah. Oh, my voice. No, don't go. So yeah, I've kind of like outlined like all these like creative channels, physical channels that are needed. Traveling being very important, being you know, friends with people from different cultures with different worldviews. And yeah, like and then we look at like Chiron, like I said before, it's on the midheaven. That's like people who are healers have that in Virgo. So that means that there's, you know, maybe because you have you like I like when I use the word genius, I mean I think I don't think of IQ, I think of someone who sees the world differently and who's very inventive and who's very creative in their way of their life and different and thinks outside the box. And I think you're definitely like that. So maybe that at a young age, if you had like a very conservative family or something like that, um, where there's like lots of conditioning, maybe it created some pain around you like being able to express yourself, and maybe you thinking that you weren't as smart as you really are, or that your way of thinking was flawed. So, yeah, just like that's very important to get past that conditioning, and then you're able to really be someone who, through your communication ability and just your like analytical like ability to analyze and all that, the mercurial part of you, right? The Gemini's Mercury, to be able to heal people through that, through that, yeah, through that understanding. And midheaven, fuck my voice. In Virgo, likes to, it really, yeah, it wants to be of service. Like it wants its career to be of service, like career wise to be of service, and to give back. So that's another indicator of that. So then, okay, Uranus, dot, dot, dot. Venus in the sixth, I think like that's just more about the need, like in your karmic relationships, there's like a lot of need to like balance, like to find like karmic balance in them, right? So there may have been like the cycle, and maybe even your relationship with Josh, where you're trying to like balance out that karma, and not like if there's like a cycle from past life to past life, like to really like try to pinpoint what that is and overcome it. Because what can happen sometimes with that is like one person in one life will be the role of the male, the more dominant one, and then in the next life it'll be the other person. It'll switch off. And it's about really like finding that balance. And also it'll make you really have like a love language that you'll really like to give and be of service in your relationship. Yeah. And it goes back to being of service to humanity also. Oh, fucking voice. Come on. And yeah, Vertex eighth house, like, which is exactly, so this shows how fated your guys' relationship is. Vertex is all about fate. It's exactly conjunct his moon. Talk about this more later tomorrow, or yeah, tomorrow, if my voice doesn't die whenever I do it. So that just shows that you and him are meant to be. I'm not saying marriage because I don't make those claims, but like, that's just like vertex connections and synastry is like just pure fate, meant to be, meant to meet, meant to be in a relationship. Very, very important one that actually in the eighth house helps you dive deeper into that death rebirth transformation, into that snake shedding the skin. And you being born in 95 and getting a reading from me, that tells me a lot. Being from Newport, that tells me a lot about you and your soul yearning and really feeling that calling. And I have no idea where you are in that spiritual journey, but let me tell you, like, I'm not saying you're gonna you need to be like this like hippie that we're like, because there's so much fake spirituality in California. It's just about, it's more internal. And spirituality, like that can happen like just like finding like through that surrender, and all that. So yeah, very interesting chart. And then you have Sun square Mars also, and Sun opposite Jupiter. So you have a T square that shoots out at 29 Aquarius. So basically that literally backs me up again, where it's like like finding that highest form of communication is the like literally the healing, because like the Sun square Mars, it adds even more of that potential to just get angry and be impulsive and do things you regret. And then Sun opposite, yeah, Jupiter, that can kind of create like a Superman syndrome, where you feel like you can take anything on. You might put too much on your plate. You might be overly risk taking. It's like the person who like walks into the casino and thinks they're automatically going to win everything, right? So it's like a level of restraint, which is why just peering at Josh's chart, I feel like he is really, really good for you in that area. I need more water. So yeah, pretty clear. Um, oh yeah, and then you also have Mercury square Saturn. So that doubles down on what I was saying before about how your thought process and your view of your own intelligence and like you may have been like shy growing up, even as a Gemini, like more shy than the normal Gemini. To not shy necessarily, but shy to express your true self and feeling like restrictions around really letting it out. But this is actually like Sun or Mercury, Saturn when it's integrated is extremely good for intelligence because it gives Saturn is memory, and especially like Mercury in dignity in its best sign. Well, the two best signs for Mercury are Virgo and Gemini. Yours is Gemini. Um, that's just like the just that really high intellectual ability. So like you can literally do anything, put your mind to. So yeah, just watching out for like that shadow side coming up in relationships. Like one other thing also is like getting bored too easily and thinking the grass is greener in relationships. Um, which can be shown here with Black Moon on the Descendant. Um, so yeah, just really like it's really great that your Venus is in Taurus because it's going to give you that ability to really, as I said before, like see the beauty in other, which is amazing. Okay, what else? Yeah, so like I think I covered pretty much everything. For now. We'll talk, in the follow up and we'll see everything. But overall, like even you know, with Palace and the eighth, look, it says like strong. It's all about like strong intuition, psychic abilities, and then having Vesta there too. It's about just like being very committed to discovering, like really driven towards discovering, like lots of firepower towards discovering like the deeper meaning of life, like the cycles of death, rebirth, transformation, even like examining death itself. Like in my book, Pisces Live Nine Lives, which you should definitely buy. Um, it's on Amazon if you're interested. It's not an astrology book. It's like a book about everything that like I find most interesting. I wrote during my Saturn turn. Like each chapter is like its own book, pretty much. It's a very easy read. Um, like one of the most important things for me was overcoming the fear of death. That was like the first chapter after like I get my two chapters where I talk about my crazy life. So yeah, watching out for codependency also, as I said before, and just like and not get like having like petty ego fights, and really and when those do, if like altercations like which will probably be more of like the Gemini and kind of verbal types come up, where you feel like you're kind of like ego tripping a little bit potentially, those are the greatest clues to where the growth needs to come from. And yeah, like Chiron on the MC, like that's like someone who's meant to be a healer. I'm not saying that you have to do like work in a healing field, but you have tons of potential to be an entrepreneur um, in any way you deem possible or you deem most interesting to you, excuse me. So it's like really a limitless chart. Very, very nice. Um, yeah, even like Chiron has a square to Mercury too. So that's speaking further about pain around like the thought process and about the ability to communicate your truth and stuff like that. So yeah, really working on the throat chakra, super important. I say that as I'm losing my voice. So yeah, that's it. Let me actually put my face back on. Oh, they're shadowy now. I like my LED lights more. Let me just pull up something. Stars. Okay, so let's see. Talk about that. Yeah, nemesis on your moon, it just kind of backs it up that there can be like enemies, you know. And it's all about just handling those with tact. 513 is that's not close enough. And your sun moon midpoint, so the midpoint between your sun and your moon is really close to your Venus. I have that too. So it just goes to it just shows like that like self like that Taurus Venus self-love, um you know, like your values and all that is really really important to like the full integration of self. So nothing with the sun. 18. And then you have some indicators of oh so you have lust on your Mercury, which can be very sexy, let's say, in terms of like being able to like speak in a very like attractive way, like having a very attractive voice. Um, 18. And Beetlejuice is kind of out of orb. But yeah, that's good for wealth. That's not like super super tight, but like you know the Mars Regulus can be great for that. And yeah, and the Taurus Venus, of course. Midheaven, nothing. Yeah. So yeah, just with the 29 degrees, Mars and Pluto, it's just like yeah, it's a very important lifetime karmically of really diving into that high Scorpio energy and letting go of what's no longer needed and not staying in that same like when being in your south node represents like you not growing basically. And the fact that you're getting this reading from me, no. But at your age, that tells me all I need to know. So thank you so much. Really look forward to doing the next reading and speaking live. And ciao, ciao, ciao.